To say that Jenna Ortega's star has been rising would be an understatement. Whether it's Ty West's X, the smash hit series Wednesday, the lesser known but powerful The Fallout, or the effective revival of the Scream franchise, she's one of the most consistent young actors working today, and one of my personal favorites. Anything she attaches herself to, I'll be pretty curious to check out, in spite of the disaster that was Miller's Girl. That said, I didn't know what to make of Death of a Unicorn, the quirky upcoming horror comedy about a father and his daughter who run over a unicorn. The premise sounded far less horror than it did comedic, and by far less, I mean it didn't sound horrific at all. Then again, it's an A24 film, so perhaps not knowing what to expect would be a good thing. Then the trailer came out, and frankly showed enough for me to come to the conclusion that this movie would be terrible. After all, the trailer functioned less like a trailer and more like a recap video in preparation for the release of Death of a Unicorn 2. Then again, it's just a trailer. You don't truly know how much a trailer has shown you until you've seen the film. Maybe they've got plenty of surprises up their sleeve. Yeah, no. The trailer really does reveal 80% of the plot beats, and it's almost as terrible as the marketing portrayed, leading to the entire watching experience feeling like a bingo card. Yup, there's that moment from the trailer. I wonder when that moment is gonna show up. There it is. The 20% of plot beats that weren't in the trailer are incredibly predictable. And in the moments that the movie isn't predictable, it's only because the movie pulls its character choices out of a magic hat, opting for cheap shock moments instead of organically building up to surprising twists and turns. Horror comedy is an incredibly difficult balance to pull off, and it takes a lot of skill to delicately weave a thread between two genres which are essentially polar opposites of each other. Jordan Peele's Nope being a good example of how to toe this line, my overall thoughts on that film notwithstanding. Instead of trying to toe the line between horror and comedy, director Alex Schaffman instead scribbles on the line, jumping back and forth between both sides of it until the line no longer exists. Quite frankly, to call this a horror film is a case of misleading marketing, cause there isn't even one moment where I was even remotely scared for the characters. To be fair, if the movie had tried to create a genuine persisting sense of threat, it would be difficult to care, because the cast of characters this film creates feel less like a group of three-dimensional human beings, and instead function as one-dimensional archetypes. In a vacuum, Paul Rudd's character is just fine, but unfortunately for him, we don't live in a vacuum. It's plain to see that this character right here is a direct one-to-one translation of the Ant-Man character, all the way from his quirks to his speech pattern to the single father angle. Now, if there's anything worse than an archetypal character, it's an obnoxious archetypal character, which is exactly what we get from Jenna Ortega. Acting wise, she does the best that she can to break this character out of the mold she's been placed in, but let's face it, she's been set up to fail. Just take the look of the character in for a moment. The septum ring and the bleached hair are a blatant instance of poor generic character design. No, I can't think of a specific movie character who shares this look, but that's only because this sort of character design would usually go to an extra with 2 lines who's credited as emo girl number 2. As for the rest of the cast, Will Poulter plays the archetype of snobby rich kid, and he hams it up to 12, which is about a few points too high. While Barry Breakthrough Anthony Carrigan fails to bring the wit and charm that he brought to the Bill Hader created TV show. From a technical standpoint, the movie is even more disappointing than its writing and performances. It's as visually flat as a Netflix original film, the music is wholly unremarkable, and when the unicorn imbues the characters with visions early on in the runtime, we get the blandest take of psychedelic visuals I've seen in a mainstream movie. One where they place Doctor Strange and Guardians of the Galaxy in a blender to produce absolute slop. Between Y2K and Opus, A24 has produced quite a few stinkers as of late, but Death of a Unicorn feels by far the most concerning. A24 set a goal to venture into higher budget, more mainstream films, and while a movie like Alex Garland's Civil War felt like the perfect match between art and commerce, Death of a Unicorn is the cautionary tale of the downfall which could await this studio if they decide to pursue economic success at any cost. It's a comedy that isn't funny, a horror that isn't scary, and a story which the film fails to make emotionally plausible. It's hard to imagine why a studio like A24 would find anything worthwhile about this package, beyond the fact it features young A-list Jenna Ortega and the beloved Paul Rudd, and that in itself is pretty concerning. I'm giving this one a 4 out of 10 because it wasn't long enough for me to hate it enough for a 3 out of 10. But boy did it come close. Thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for weekly TV and movie reviews. And if you've had the chance to watch Death of a Unicorn, let us know what you thought about it in the comments below. I'm Cinemike, and I'll see you next time.